Discrepancies between Buddhism and Brahmanism. Thera Thich Thong Lac, extracted from DVXP.6, printed and public permission by T.G. 2011 pages 225-231. Question, Dear Master. What are the discrepancies between Brahmanism and Buddhism? Answer. Between Brahmanism and Buddhism there are so much variations but only few people pay attention to, such as 1. Buddhism does not accept of social class. Anyone belongs to any social class. When that one becomes a Buddhist should always have the same guideline practice, so whatever social class they are also certified arahant, no different. In Buddhist societies there are no social class. Any ones that attained arahant are called sage or there, others that kept strictly precepts, but did not certify the level of arahant called saint. All who were arahant, their mind completely no suffering, no more rebirth in the human realm, they were liberated. So in Buddhism there is no social class at all. Mr. Chien Dain was born in the lowest caste. Buddha accepted him a monk and he practiced and became an arahant. Such was broken with social class of India at that time. The Buddha accepted women ordained to become bhikkhunis in the Buddhist society and who renunciation to become arahant. It also destroyed the man ideas in the India society at that time. Brahmanism accepts 4 castes in society, and their caste is above all. Brahmanism accepts the man's spirit of society. That is the difference between Buddhism and Brahmanism. 2. Buddhism does not accept metaphysical world. The metaphysical world is nothing but the shadow of the visible world only. The view of Buddhism is more practical. More specifically, metaphysics should know the world is the world of intellectual ideas, rather than the world of full understanding. Brahman acceptance vague metaphysical world so unlike Buddhism in this place. Buddhism is non-metaphysical, so Buddhism is more practice. 3. Buddhism does not accept chanting. Brahmanism accept chanting. The Buddha taught, Hey Brahman, who is good for reciting mantras but that one is greed, theft, also lie, adultery, does he deserves to be a Brahman? Would you answer this question? A Brahma no chanting, no offense precepts, no killing, no stealing, no sexual misconduct, no lie, can he deserve the title of Brahma? By this comparison between chanting and not, morality and not, we know very well the Buddha did not accept chanting. Yet Buddhism today goes against the ancient Buddhism. Ancient Buddhism is more progress than today Buddhism. Today Buddhism goes backward centuries of old Buddhism. Thus, Buddhism no chantings, differs with Brahmanism with chantings. Now in the temple in the name of Buddhism, but rather the Brahman temple, because there is out loud the sound of chantings 4 times a day with the bell and wooden gong. In Buddhist temples, monks do not chant only diligently cultivation day and night preventing and eliminating evil mind. That is the really practice of Buddhist. Such is the difference between Brahmanism and Buddhism. For Brahmanism accepted good appearance to be a Brahmin priest, Buddhism does not accept good appearance, so the Buddha says, a person has good appearance, but also greed, stealing, adultery, lie, eating non-time, and kept the money is not yet a Brahmin. Mahayana scriptures often praised 32 good appearances and 80 beauty of the Buddha, but in Theravada scriptures do not accept and negate good appearance to become Brahman. So what do you think? 32 good appearances and 80 beauty are of the Buddhism or not? That is the difference between Brahmanism and Buddhism. 5. Buddhism is not superstition. Superstition is of Brahmanism. The Mahayana scriptures are teaching superstitions, such as the Sutra of Kings of Hell, Sutra of Repayment of Parent, Amitabha Sutra, Full Knowing Sutra. 6. Buddhists rely on their self, Brahmanism rely on the theocratic, such as the Lotus Sutra, the Chapter of Universal Door, the Sutra of Returning to One's Origin, of Boundless Light, Amitabha Sutra. 7. Buddhism does not accept ascetic, only discharge the mind. Brahman accepts it, as, standing one leg, sit cross-legged for hours causing body fatigue and aches, eat too little, submerge body of cold water in winter, makes the body undergo great suffering. Buddhism does not accept ascetic, so, Buddhism practice discharge the mind, repel obstacles to the mind, body, sensation, object to mind. Live with a life of peace, serenity and carefreeness. That is the difference between Buddhism and Brahmanism. 8. In practice Buddhist meditation discharge the mind and tame the mind, so there are 7 capability of enlightenment appearing to help practitioners to enter 4 jhanas and implementation of Sanming. In contrast, in practice Brahma meditation inhibits the mind, does not discharge the mind, does not withdraw from desire, does not withdraw from evilness, should fall into the delusional meditation. That is the difference between Buddhism and Brahmanism. But the Buddha just considers himself a true Brahmin, lives of dignity, rather than the Brahmins violate precepts, break precepts, broken precepts, always pray for died people to get into heaven or paradise, pray for the living people to have peace in the life, etc. Please read the Dhammapada, will see the Buddha determined right Brahmin and wrong Brahmin, then ponder Buddhists worship the Buddha as the leader of Buddhism. The Buddha did not establish Buddhism as other religions. When finishing practice, the Buddha just wanted to bring the fine teachings to benefit people, make people knowing each other to bring happiness to each other, no longer suffering anymore. It is the wish of the Buddha. He did not think that today Buddhism is such a religion beyond his desire. What I said above is true. Please listen to the final teaching of the Buddha before his death. After my death, bhikkhus take the precepts and my teachings as the teacher. This teaching of the Buddha shows clearly that Buddhism does not a religion but a moral subject about moral human causation. There is methods and practice. Thus, Buddhism and Brahmanism not the same, differ from all aspects. 10. Buddhism with Brahmanism is totally different, as a deep abyss and high sky. Brahmanism constructs great self and primary self. Great self is the essence of things such as the seawater, primary self is the nature of every organism such as water droplet. When a being dies, primary self falls into great self like a water droplet falls into great sea, the seawater is only a block. In contrast, the Buddhism considers form world and invisible world are delusion world. Nothing permanent, nothing lasts forever, they change every moment, always impermanent. Everything in the universe is born by the conditions of combination, so when they die, nothing exists. The human body and mind too, not really exist, not true, nothing existence, then nothing of the human body and mind exists after death. So the invisible world is only an illusion, not true, none of these invisible world is true at all. Therefore, Buddhism is selfless. Buddhism is not self nor selfless of Mahayana and Zen style. Mahayana and Zen said selflessness, but there is the Buddha nature, the Nibbana, the Western paradise. Mahayana and Zen said selfless, but there is the Jade Emperor God. Selflessness is no great self nor primary self, etc. Those are the differences between Buddhism and Brahmanism.